Hello, everybody.
Hey, hey, hey.
All right. All right. So, welcome to the Mikestand, guys. Hope everybody's having a good day today. So, if you haven't already, just a friendly reminder, of course, if you guys haven't already, you guys can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. Um, with that being said, so I'll talk real quickly here about what we're going to be going over tonight. Of course, we're still going through comics that went on sale in February 1940. This week we're going to be focusing on books that went sale from Quality Comics. We're going to be looking at Smash Comic Volume 1, Issue 9, and Feature Comics Volume 1, Issue 31. We will be also be the primary features we'll be looking at, of course, will be Black X, Invisible Hood, Dollman, and the Clock. But we'll also take a look at some of the humorous ones as well. So a little bit of a mix tonight. We'll probably be doing. As always, guys, if you if anything here we talk about tonight grabs your attention, feel free to comment or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. And now, Rick, I'm gonna before we get started with the material, I'm gonna go ahead and I guess even why I'm getting the page set up. If you want to do your intro, talk about your promote anything, talk about your channel, share your link, you know the shtick, right?
Yeah. Well, so first off, I will share a link for my third, well, technically it's my fourth video of being out and painting, although it was from the second time I went out. No, third time I went out, but I'm cutting it up into 15-minute segments. So we have that, and that's me painting up the Canadian shield with a bit of a background out in Hamilton. So that's the link that we have in there. And of course, you can find that on my channel, Cross Comics, here on YouTube. And if you like what you see, hit that subscribe button and share it out. And yeah, ring the bell for notification. And you can do that here as well. Hit that like button, share this out, and ring the bell for notification if you guys haven't done that yet here. If you like the content that Mike.
Actually, it's kind of funny. I think it was, I don't know if it was last night or the night before, but I ended up getting 3 new subscribers this past week, up to 216 now.
Awesome.
So so I'm getting up there slowly but surely. But yeah, there's Rick's link to that. So now, we're gonna go ahead. Huh? Yeah, that's one of the funny things about Quality. A number of their comics had had a number of their titles for their comics had had references to some form of offensive attack. Smash Comics here in March, Crack Comics, which is where the Clock will move to. They have Crack Comics, like when you crack somebody over the head or something like that. They actually have a comic called Hit Comics. So they had a number of those that were kind of.
This can make a smash. It's smashingly good.
All right.
So when I was saying the smash, I'm thinking Hulk.
Yeah,
Hulk. But I know Hulk's not part of theirs, and Hulk hasn't been invented. But at this point in the comics, it's just I was using China. I was think of. I guess I think of Hulk when I think of Smash.
Mm-hmm. Let me go ahead and just do some more real quick here.
Elk. Hey, Elk.
Oh, Elk is here already? That's cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's saying, hell, Zeno and Xena are only fictional saviors.
Yeah. Oh, anyways, just doing a little last minute sharing here. All right, so
Yes.
all right, so with that, we'll go ahead and get started with the readings. Then you ready? You feel like reading tonight, Rick?
Oh, of course. Why wouldn't I?
Yeah. All right. Smash Comics. You'll never take me alive, Black X. It's kind of when yeah, well, Black X was his actual name. I think he was still kind of so starring espionage with Black X, Abdul the Arab, Cheat Carter, One Clue, Archie O'Toole, Captain Cook, Philip Veep, John Law, Flash Fulton, and small stuff, 64 pages. Let's see here. Let's see how we're going to do this. Okay.
What are we reading? We're reading from Quality Comics, Al. Uh, that's company. We're reading Smash Comics. I think Feature Comics. Did you say?
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Smash
number
Comics Volume 1, Issue 9, and Feature Comics Volume 1, Issue 21.
Yeah, and we're reading several different stories from both of them. So you'll see what they are as we come up to them. Although Mike has already said, but let it be a surprise.
All right. So Smash Comics. Let's see now. Let's go back up here. April, November, number 9. April, of course, is the cover date, 10 cents. Starring Black X and also featuring Bozo the Robot, Wings Wendell, Visible Hood, and Clip Chance. Do 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 do. Interesting.
So it's Bozo the Robot, not Bozo the Clown.
Yeah, Bozo the Robot. Yeah.
Yeah. Alex says Black X looks like Vincent Price.
Well, yeah, interesting people here. I think I know where this is going because I think if this guy's who I think it is, there's a pretty famous book. Black X looks like Vincent Price. Oh, okay, that's what you were referring to. Well, he's got a monocle and everything like that, but he's a spy. So, anyways, interesting people. Louis Strakes was a sandwich man in a New York restaurant. By accident, he found the unusual characters could be made with common toast. Money for toast, I guess. Huh. So he basically made puppets out of bread here, I guess. Money for toast. Strakes is now kept very busy creating his funny figures for many purposes and earns a nice income from it. All right.
Well, I guess we'll just have to toast him.
Yeah. Espionage, starring Black X. Our mighty legions will sweep Europe, cry gold-clad warlords, and their gray puppets rise warily to shed blood for a bit of tin, a hero's grave, or for falsisms of hate. And now man has learned to forge new weapons for war. From the sky he rains death, while across the shell pocked land ride the four horsemen of death.
Oh, geez, somebody's borrowing from Revelation.
Huh?
Somebody's borrowing from the book of Revelation.
Mm-hmm. Even beneath the seas, man is locked in struggle with weird instruments of destruction. And in America, the citadel of man's greatest gift to civilization. Hmm. Look at those people rushing down into the subway. In Europe, they rush into a bomb shelter like that. It's good to live in America in peace. As Black X enters his apartment, the desk lamp flickers a signal. Here, Batu, take my coat. The private wire is ringing. A secret panel slides back, revealing a phone. Hello, Chief. Yes. Hello. Yes, Chief. A new case? I'll be right there. A few minutes later, the tall form of the famous secret agent strides briskly down the marble hall of a government building. Suddenly, oh, look at that, a knife getting thrown at him. In an instant, Black X leaps into action. There he goes. Throwing knives. Tisk, tisk. A bad business. Attracted by the noise, Black X's uh, chief suddenly appears in a doorway. Hello, come on and join the party. This chap tried to knife me. What? Who is he?
Famous secret agent is poor writing.
Seizing the opportunity, when Black X turns the captive hastily when it turns, the captive hastily swallows a capsule with an eerie grunt. He straightens, and as he sinks to the ground, his face withers to a skull. Good Lord, Chief, look! That's kind of a ghastly thing to have happen, huh?
Yeah, Alcatraz, famous secret agent is poor writing. Well, I'm not sure whether it's poor writing, but if you're a famous secret agent, um, I don't think that's a good thing because people know who you are. Well, it depends on how you're famous too. Like James Bond is technically a famous secret agent,
Hmm.
but people don't necessarily know what he looks like, or the bad guys don't, or do they? So I'm not sure whether it's good to be a famous secret agent.
Bewildered, the government agents carry the corpse to a laboratory as Batu arrives. Here, Batu. Lend me a hand and put him on this table. Hmm. Strange, almost. Oh,
He looks almost already on the table. It doesn't need much more help.
yeah. Strange, almost like a comic magazine story. Talk about breaking the fourth wall right there. Oh, that's a classic case of breaking the fourth wall. Hmm.
I would say that's breaking the fourth wall, but it's being I won't say eerily because this is not really eerily, but it's definitely being ironic with them saying that in a comic book
Yeah.
because they're not addressing the audience; they're just saying the familiarity with what it's in. Although they don't know that they're in a comic, so and Alex says unknown rock star.
Yeah. But Farmer Grim Batu, what do you think of this? And I think the next part is, but you want to give Batu a try? You want to try?
Yeah, well, I've done it before. Uh, Wool, have you heard of such a thing in India? There is ancient legend telling of her found in northern Siberia that turn men into skeleton and kill. Very rare.
Hmm. That reminds me of what I called you down for. I have a new case for you that may tie up with this weird corpse. Come into my chart room. It's certainly an interesting start. Hmm. See that square marked off up there? One of our flyers reported seeing camouflage gun emplacements somewhere on that coast. It was so foggy we he could not determine it his exact location.
And of course, I think by flyer they mean somebody in an airplane at this point,
Right, right, exactly.
not a sheet of paper.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Anyways, frankly, the State Department is worried. Guns on the Siberian coast. Then you fear a Russian invasion of Alaska? No, something or someone far deadlier. We in Washington have good reason to believe that an unknown power threatens the safety and security of the United States. I have no other information. All you have to work on is what I've told you.
Oh, and I want to say something about this. One of the previous panels, just that chart wall. I like it, but there's only one problem. Trying where they are, trying to mark anything on the top of it would be a pain.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I can see what you're talking about there, but I've seen a number of cartoons where they've had like military or government institutions like that, and they've had like huge chart walls like that. Though, I mean, I
Yeah,
think you want I think that I've seen it a couple times, like in GI Joe, for example, right?
yeah. Usually theirs are on like some sort of TV or whatever, or some sort of screen. This doesn't look like it's on the screen necessarily. At least if it's on the screen, you have a small thing that you can refer to. It's being projected from a computer, like GI Joe or whatever. At least then you can alter it on the computer. There, it looks like somebody would have to climb up.
Uh huh. Let's see now. And just another friendly reminder, if you guys haven't already, if you guys can like and share this thing, see if we can get some more friendly people in here to engage. That'd be appreciated. Also, if anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. We'll try to answer the questions to the best of our ability. So, um, anyways, back to the story here. What's your first move, Black X? To Alaska, I'll take the next plane out. And there he goes off in the plane. Somewhere over Canada. So your neck of the woods there,
Mine
your
and
neck of
out.
the,
Mine and out.
yeah, you're an elk. Um,
I'm
it
not an
seems,
elk. I'm a person.
yeah. Um, it it seems to me we're changing our course. Ask the hostess. That won't be necessary. You will all please remain seated. You will consider yourselves prisoners. The first to make a false move will be shot. The gentleman with the monocle will rise, please.
Mike
Suddenly,
said,
the big plane circles and heads earthward.
Alex
Oh,
said, Alex says guns on the Siberian coast leading to fears of Alaskan invasion is also poor writing.
hmm.
I think you're a bit behind.
Uh,
I'm not even sure whether I remember that.
yeah, that was a few panels back there, Elk. Uh, okay, so oh, I see, neat plot, and all for me. Lovely.
Well, you gotta love how they changed this woman's skin color. She's now red as the plane.
Yeah,
Somebody,
interesting coloring choice.
I think somebody goofed there, of course, and
Yeah,
painted her face the
yeah.
same as part of the thing, not realizing it
Well,
was
I
a picture.
wasn't even sure if I guess though, considering the circumstances, I guess it could still be her. All is working as planned. Ling, land in the valley. Get up quickly. Tell your valet to come also. Remember, I won't hesitate to use this pistol. What happens now? Without a word, the plane takes off again, climbing rapidly. Watch.
And you gotta love how the first plane that they took just happened to be the plane that these people were on. They commandeered the whole thing. And I like how there's that little red blotch in um, the bubble above, the middle panel above. So somebody was a little too frivolous with the red brush.
hmm Well, she's back to normal skin tone now.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll observe the plane circles and dives. All the passengers will be here killed. Good Lord. Very thorough. Not a trace will be found. Now, my beautiful. Now, my beautiful. Why? Why all this hocus pocus? You're being invited to dinner. Help me take that canvas off the car. And then you see all the plane vanishes. Airliner disappears. Seattle to Fairbanks. Plane.
Now this is just filler panel. They did not need this panel at all because, or I don't think so. Anyways, at least not yet because these articles wouldn't be written as fast. They're going into the car and driving. It would be a day at least before any of these articles would be written and put out.
Well, you know it's in the qualities. Well, they actually have a newspaper called Tabloid. You see that?
Yeah.
And it's yellow, and it's on yellow paper apparently. Tabloid yellow journalism.
Yeah. They have the record,
Yeah.
the headliner, and what's that
And,
other one? Something Eagle, daily paper.
mm-hmm. Yeah. And somewhere across the Bering Straits moved Black X Batu and the Mystery Lady toward a destination unknown. At last, after 2 days of ceaseless travel, they arrived at a fortress wedged between two cliffs. Okay, I think this might be the bad guy. So you wanna go ahead and be the bad guy too here?
Welcome, Black X. Come right in. I've a great pain. I've been, I've been at great pains to find you. You're quite a famous person. Er, Permit me to introduce myself. I am Proxoff. I am revolutionary. My aides, Van Damme and Count Trini.
Why have you brought me here?
You'll understand shortly. After an, an Arminist in
After
19...
armistice.
Okay. After armistice in 1918, I realized that another war was coming. A war that would destroy civilization. I decided to profit by it. See, I'm Ferengi. No. I found two generals with unsavory records and lust for power. For 20 years, we've laid plans. Now our time has come. The world is at war. While Russia, Finland, Germany, England, and France destroy each other, I prox us off. Wait, carefully, silently. I have prepared airports in the mountains, built an army of men who don't fear death.
Then I suppose when Europe is in shambles, the great Proxoff will descend from the east
And rule the world. My first objective is America. And an agent of your ability in a strategic position could deliver the United States into my hands. You smile. I'm not a mad Black X, only as they say in the play, diabolically clever. Think you're up?
Yeah, I'm trying to determine here which one. Oh yeah, Proxoff.
Tis. Don't give me your answer now. You must be tired. Answer me in the morning.
Once in their room, Black X and Batu plan an escape.
Soldiers, come.
If you wish to live, show us how we can escape. See this gun? I'm in earnest. I'm in earnest. It's an interesting way of putting that. Probably a bit more of the way Black X would speak. We wouldn't use that particular phrasing nowadays as much, but
Yeah, for sure.
a panel slides back. You waste your breath, Black X. These soldiers don't fear death. Bang! Observe. At a command from me, this man willingly killed himself. Momika! Imagine an army of men like him.
I think now
At
it's
his
supposed to be
master, yeah. At his master's command, Batu's eyes fasten themselves on the girl. Okay, so he's not actually speaking as much. I think he's more like this is all like mental, like
yeah,
telepathy.
trying to influence her mind.
Try to do it all like this, like with your hands cupped over your mouth like this. That kind of like gives it that kind of illusion.
Lead us out of this place by the northern gully to the coast station submarine.
And in a few minutes, the two are sprinting in the direction of the fort.
I must say, they really did not do a good job on this lady's face up close in that panel.
What was that?
I'm just saying, they did not really do a good job on the art of this lady's face for the close up in that first panel where he's doing the hypnotic thing.
The Proxop sounds like a mad baron of Ungam in Mongolia.
Are you saying that because of how I did his accent, Elk, or just his speech?
Or is it how they wrote him, or is it more how Rick did the voice? And while we wait, of course, for that response, I guess we can continue on here. I'll take the guard near the submarine. You get the pig boat ready to shove off. It's small enough to operate ourselves.
Oh yes, master. Howdy, master. What soldiers come?
Minutes drag at last. Batu pops his head out of the conning tower.
All is ready now, master.
Whew. Couldn't have held them off much longer. I say, how did you manage to subdue the crew so quickly?
They all fell easily under mental force. Must, however, operate submarine alone.
And amid a hail of shells, the pocket sub dives and heads out. Offshore, depth charges cover its wake. In the chart room, they're heading across the Bering Strait. Keep firing. A depth charge lands near, and
Thank
the
you.
tiny.
Elk has responded saying, Baron Angel Strong was a German baron who led a string of Mongolian conquests after World War I. The Proktop sounds like he had a similar plan. Okay. Yeah, maybe that's where they got it from.
That could be. And the tiny craft is rocked till its plates creak. Dive to the bottom, Batu. There's a cutter coming too. A little released oil. They'll think we're hit. Northward under the ice they speed. We're trapped. The ice keeps us submerged. We've got to turn back. Ugh, these men have committed suicide too. And look, mines. This entire area covered gulp. Only one thing to do. Go back through the mines and fight it out. Black X heads cautiously through the mine-filled waters, realizing that if his craft so much as touches one, they would be blown to bits. Back to the fort, where depth bombs are showered into the sea. Okay, you want to do this bad guy here?
He must stand back. The ice will, the ice in the strait will keep him under. Send out cutter. That oil discharge is an old trick. Ha ha! The fool.
A gray subchaser steams out of port. Got to stop that cut. Got to stop that. Oh wait, is that him? Okay, I get. Got to stop that cutter. Are the Parvanes cutting loose those mines, Batu?
Yes, master.
One by one, the freed mines float to the surface, and the cutter's bow strikes one of them. Then follows at the fort.
Keep fighting, you fools! But the Praxenath, we welcome death.
A well-placed torpedo reduces the gun emplacements to debris. The sub noses to the surface. Open the deck, gun Batu. I'll bring the shells. Place one in the direction tower. Proxoff is caught in the wreckage.
The American dog! My dreams of empire are shattered. Bleep!
No reply. I'm going in to get Proxoff. He'd be a nice trophy for the chief. Through smoking ruins, Black X picks his way. Proxoff, where are you?
Here, you dog, waiting for you. My forts are ruined. 9 men dead. I had the world in my grasp, but for you.
With fractions to spare, Black X sidesteps the hail of lead. The party's over, Proxoff. Surrender like a gentleman. But with a visible effort, Proxoff hastily swallows a capsule of the strange poison. And look at that. Now he's been reduced to bone. The skeleton.
Yeah.
Across the Bering Straits, down along the windswept coast, Batu and Black X return. And in Washington, D.C., several weeks later, Black X strides into his favorite restaurant. But Black X, I thought, I'm supposed to be a secret agent, you know. If you'll sit down, I'll tell you the whole ghastly yarn. And there in the waste lies the ruins of a mad dream of a man who welcomed death. Gosh, if you were a drinking man, I'd say you were drunk.
Actually,
Why?
gosh, it's Bosh.
Why? How could such an enterprise be kept secret in this modern day and age? Your newspaper? By Jove. Uh,
That newspaper is a bit big.
yeah.
Maybe.
Well, sometimes they were back then, but anyways.
Yeah.
So, Rick, I do need to step away from the computer for a moment or so. So, if you want to talk to chat for a moment, I'll be. But before I do go off here, what did you think of that story?
It was interesting. It seemed to jump a little bit too much. A lot narrative driven, which sometimes can be a good thing or a bad thing. I don't think it's as good as some of the Black X stories we've read before.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what was off with it, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just I don't know.
All
I
right.
think they're trying to find their footing in this new era for the espionage and all that.
Right.
Although I think you've done that sort of thing before,
Yeah.
but it was definitely it was all right, but not as good as I think they've been in the past for Black X.
All right. Well, I'm good. I gotta step away for a moment. I'll be right back. And then we'll continue on with the reading. Um,
Okay, sounds good. I'm grabbing a 5 minute shower. Okay, so not too many people are here right now. Maybe I will stand up for a second, get to the fridge, and grab a little something to drink. Yes, I can pour you that. Um, okay, so I'll grab a 5 minute shower. Mike is probably altering some stuff so you can see better because of the lighting on the East Coast with the sun changing. What else shall we say? I don't know. Hopefully, you guys are liking this. Um, and if anybody's watching, have you guys been checking out my stuff that I've been doing lately? Uh, the drawings of the or paintings that I've been doing out about. And if so, what do you guys think? Although there's probably only one person here, so let's just rewatching probably Ops left it on. There's me, and then of course there is probably so. Yeah, I had a job interview earlier today, a video job interview. It seemed to go well. Just hopefully mine went better than others. What else should I say? What shall we say about the drunken soldier? What shall we say about the drunken soldier? So early in the morning. Okay, I'm altering,
yeah.
sailor instead of sailor, it's soldier.
All right. So, anyways, we're back now. All
Okay,
right. So I'm back
okie
now.
dokie smoky.
All right. So, what we're gonna just breeze through the rest. Of course, we're gonna. I think I decided I was gonna do the Archie O'Toole story and the and Invisible Hood out of here, and then what
Sure.
we'll do after that when we go to read feature comics, we'll read Doll Man and the Clock stories, and then after that, with the time remaining, we'll just kind of continue through reading some of the like more slice of life humor type stories, kind of
Yeah,
and do kind of roundabout kind of way. So
the page or 2 page ones.
yeah, pretty much.
Abdul.
Duel the Arab.
You want to duel the Arab?
And then
One
clue. That would, you'd have people screaming at that one.
One clue: the defective detective.
Yeah. So we're 42 minutes into the show here. We usually sleep about 2 hours here. Flash Fulton right here, Newsreel Ace by Paul Gustafson. Clip Chance at Cliffside by Scott Sheridan. Small stuff.
Like Delvin.
Yeah. Let's see. Well, I guess we could. Let's see. How can I want? Well, much as I'd like, I think we could have quickly gone through this, but I want to get through this stuff.
I guess we won't be delving into that.
Yeah. Wings Wendell of Military Intelligence.
Wings Wendell of Military Intelligence.
You notice the variety of stuff they had here with a lot of this stuff. With a lot of these companies. Had a little bit of everything in there in terms of the type of characters and all that. That was kind of like, Phil Pop.
These anthologies seemed a lot different. A lot of anthologies now have the same type of stories yet, where these have, like you were saying, a variety.
Yeah. Phil Pop Deep in the case of the proxy burglar.
Burglar by proxy.
Captain Cook of Scotland Yard.
He's just cooking it. I wonder if Captain Cook has a hook.
Sport traits. And the guys they're featuring, of course, Jim Humphrey. Jim Humphrey may be the only one they're featuring there. John Lost, science detective.
I guess that's the scientist and detective. What?
Right.
Science?
Well, there's another character we've read before too, and one I think it's in Dell or Dean Denton, who basically is like a detective, but focuses on utilizing the investigative process through like science.
Yeah, so basically he's a forensic scientist.
Well,
he'd be like
right.
a CSI.
Pete Carter, ace reporter.
It's Chip Carter, the girl or the guy?
The Catman by Robert M. Hyatt. The text story.
The Catman.
Kidding the kids. Here's another humor one here.
It's just gotta be kidding.
Invisible Justice. Okay, here's the next one we're gonna do. Invisible Justice by Jart Gordon or Art Gordon. Art Panajan basically is the guy's real name, but Art Gordon. On Hawk Island, just off the coast of Florida, 3 people are hunting for buried pirate treasure. So I'll do the girl right there, and you can do the guys.
Okay.
We've been here a month, Phil, and still no sign of the treasure.
Your father set on finding it, Joan.
They're in America here, Rick. I don't think we need to do that. I know with Black Act I do a heavier accent just because I
I
think
was just
James
trying
Bond.
to do something not quite normal, but it's not quite what I was going for. But I guess your father, your father's set on finding it, Joan. Oh, I
I was
guess.
gonna let you do both guys right there, since I was gonna.
Yeah. Okay. I bet you're. I bet you're. I bet I am. You bet I am. That map's a family heirloom, and it's the real thing. I'm staying here until I find the pirate gold.
This this island gives me the chills. It must be the ghost of the dead pirates. Gosh, what if?
Don't be silly, Joan. Pirates. In this day and age, this is the only person living on this island is an old hermit called Pete, and he's quite harmless. I've got it! I found it! Yippee!
Phil, it's true.
Well, I'll be. It's an old iron trunk. I'll say it is. Quick, give me a hand. We'll bring it up. This'll be open in a jiffy.
Dad, Phil, look, pirates.
You want
The
me to
rock.
do it?
Yeah, since I kind of did a bit more of the voices the last time, I'll do the girl and the main hero this time, because I did more of the I did the not just the narration, but I did more of the voices in the last story. So I wanted to give you an opportunity to do
Okay.
more of this story.
Oi, drop that box, mates. We'll be taking care of it.
Meanwhile, not far away, gosh, this is the first vacation I've had. Certainly picked a nice spot. No one in sight. Kent Thurston, the Invisible Hood, and enemy of crime, has come to Hawk Island for a short vacation. Let's look around. Wait. The people and all things pirates. I can't believe it. And yet, they're actually there. This is certainly something for the hood to look into. Thurston dons his hood, which is covered by a secret chemical that makes its wearer invisible.
You gotta
This
love.
ought to. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just gonna say you gotta love this. He's on vacation, and he brings his super suit.
Well, don't most superheroes do that though? I mean, I mean, I remember seeing particularly like I remember seeing in some scenes in like the Justice League and Justice League Unlimited cartoons. They'd see several occasions where, yeah, you would think that the characters were on vacation, and yet like I remember for example, the example where the Justice League took on, Vandal Savage's debut two-parter in, or no, actually not his debut, but because that was Vandal Savage made his debut in Justice League for Savage Time. So it was after that. It was his next appearance, Maid of Honor, I believe, where and he came in and claimed to be a descendant. Um, and trying to marry the princess and become king of a country and all that. And the thing is, the episodes start with, of course, Bruce Wayne and Diana at like some fancy dance or fancy function, right? and Bruce, Batman has Bruce Wayne there, so Diana doesn't realize it's Batman, and yet you see him dancing, and then that Batman's got his. So yeah.
Yeah, I just say Batman. Batman never really ever takes a vacation. He always goes prepared wherever because he's expecting something no matter what. Now Diana, I'm not sure about her costume, but she'd leave it
Well,
to act.
even in the 2000 Justice League, they still had her do the way she would transform in like the 70s live action show, where she'd basically sit there and she'd spin, and you'd see a flash of light, and then she went from whatever she was wearing to her costume.
Yeah, so that her transformation's easy, unlike Bruce, where he's got to get into something. Although we got a few things from Al Carey saying he's back from the shower, almost like Black X. I almost like Black X, but why, oh why, must the writing be bad? Perhaps the famous secret agent was irony, but why get back to basics so long? Guns implode on the Siberian
Placed guns in place on the Siberian
coast would imply a defense of Siberia from an invasion, perhaps from Alaska, not the other way around. Why couldn't the stories make even basic sense? Because the writers were bad back then.
Well, also, it could be because they still were trying to write for kids, but simple plot points and all that.
Yeah, they didn't think it had to make too much sense, unfortunately, back then. Yeah. They just wrote not thinking about it making sense. And some do that today, even in cartoons, but unfortunately it is what it is. They should have done something better, but they didn't. And hopefully we've learned from them. Hopefully if we do comics, we will learn from this. Yeah. I think I'm trying to anyways.
Yeah. This ought to prove very interesting, yes. I've got to step some to catch up with that bunch. Meanwhile, as the pirates take over the treasure.
What's the meaning of this? Who are you? Never. Oh, yeah, you read that. Never mind. Just follow the orders. Grab the stuff, boys. Let's go. Stop kicking, Dexter. You found the treasure, didn't you? It's not that, Slade. The leader took Joan with him and went off in a different direction. I'm worried. I wonder why they put a tree here.
Suddenly, Mr. Dexter is tripped.
Help! Help! Maybe somebody should tell him there's quicksand down there. Or do you think he'll guess, boys? Help! Quicksand! Help!
Suddenly, the hood appears. Here, take hold of this branch.
What's that? Who's there? I don't see anyone.
I'll explain later who I am. I saw everything. It was the fellow you called Slade who pushed you in.
Slade? But why should Slade push me in? He's my secretary, and pirates who are they? Who are they? I'm confused.
I wish I knew. If you want to find out, follow me. Later.
Look, an old stockade.
Yes, yes. It must be the pirate stronghold.
I hope that door opens. We've got to find Joan.
Suddenly, a trapdoor gives way beneath their feet.
Where are we, Hood? The trapdoor closed by itself. Must have springs. Now, what do we do?
The pirates must have come in through a secret passage. Shh! Listen, someone's coming.
Ha ha! Some guy fell in the quicksand. What the? If he's the guy knocked in the quicksand, say, how did you?
Quick, close the doors, Dexter. Close the door, Dexter.
Boy, what a shot! Nice work, Hood.
There's ghosts. These ghosts have given us a scare, but now the ghosts are going to get a taste of their own medicine. Listen, Dexter. Here's my plan.
Uh, Elk says Canadian Shield makes basic sense, or uh, versatitude, verisimilitude, given a world with superpowers. Verisimilitude. I'm not sure how to say that. Canadian Shield should get.
Hold on. Basic sense or verisimilitude. Given word, given world with superpowers.
Canadian Shield should get caught in quicksand. We haven't had enough quicksand in comics since the 70s or so. I'm not sure whether quicksand could hold Canadian Shield suit. Maybe it might be able to hold him outside of the suit.
Hmm.
Haha. So they think.
Hold on.
Oh, sorry.
Meanwhile, in the pirates' headquarters. Now go.
Aha. So they think we're real pirates, eh, Slade? Eh, Slade? Yeah, they don't know the boys are just hiding down here from the law. And that's what I made, and that I made a deal with you boys to dress and act like pirates until until we found until old man Dexter found the treasure, and you boys did a good job, boys.
Suddenly, one of the men lets out a yell.
Boys, look, the land of the treasure, it's opening. Yo, it's haunted. It must be real ghosts of the real pirates. I'm getting out of here.
Ha ha! That gave them a nice scare. Now I hope Dexter does his stuff.
What do we do? Into this room, boys.
As the terrified men rush headlong into the room, Dexter quickly shuts the door and locks it.
There, they'll never get out now for the treasure.
But Slade heads for another room.
Something's wrong. Something's wrong. Something's gone wrong, right? The boys have gone haywire. Take it. They think the place is haunted. I'm beginning to feel shivery myself.
Since this guy's named Mike, I guess I'll do him.
Okay.
You're crazy, Slade. You can't fool me. Phil, so you're in on this whole affair.
Yes, I am. So what? You keep out of this, Joan. Mike, let's take the treasure and scram.
So the guy's name is Phil Slade. That's his full name, Phil Slade.
And Elk says verlucitude means suspension of disbelief.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, that's what they needed back then. But anyways,
Well, no, he's talking about for the Canadian Shield and all that, but that's what you need with comics in general.
yeah,
Sometimes more than a little bit more than other times.
yeah. Hmm. I'll stay right. I'll stay right here, Slade. You know the coppers are looking for me, and it won't be long now. And it won't be long now. What the? Who said that? Wait, there's only one guy I know who could get away with that. Suddenly, Mike dashes to the door and slams it. Now, Mr. Invisible Hood, let's see you get out of this. Ha ha ha. One of these shots ought to get you. Bang! 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 Sorry, Mike, but I'm over here. You'll never get me, Hood. Oh, his gun empty. Mike makes a dash for freedom, but the Hood is after him with a flying tackle. Got him. Ugh. Meanwhile, Slade, who has armed himself with a sword, pushes at the Hood.
Now that I know where you are, Hood, this will be your finish.
Ha! Missed. Shock!
You're gonna read that later.
Well, Dexter is the first one there.
There's a little caption box right beside his thing that says later.
Oh, later.
Well, I see you've done a great job, Hood.
Thanks, Dexter. As soon as we notify the G-men, they'll take care of these so-called pirates. I'm glad you've got your treasure, Dexter. You certainly deserve it. And I know of something you deserve, Mr. Hood. Come here. Oh, look at this! Imagine now. Talk about suspension of disbelief right there. Yeah, this girl's gonna kiss an invisible man.
Well, I could see her kissing an invisible man, but I think the invisible man would have to initiate the kiss because, well, she doesn't know where his lips are.
Yeah, well, I guess that's why she said, "Come here."
Yeah, but even coming here, she doesn't know where his lips are. You know.
Yeah, unless he grabs her and pulls her into him, and then you can.
It breathes on her face.
Right.
But anyways, even though you're invisible, a kiss is still a kiss. Hey, Hood.
A sigh is just a sigh. So, anyways, so Archie O'Toole. This will be the last one from this book, and then we'll head over to feature comics. And again, when we get over to feature comics, we will read both the two, least Dollman and Clock, and then from there we'll just finish out the time. I want to run just a little past 2 hours, so we might go all the way up to 2 hours in terms of let's see, it's an hour 9 now. So
yeah, I must say that story was more well written than the Black Axe.
Yeah. So Actually, I did forget to ask you about that. What were your, how did you like that story? And you just, what you.
I'll definitely say I like that one better. There was a lot more continuity to it and all that. You see it flow a lot better. So that one I liked a lot more. And then Alex says the Invisible Man can put all sorts of things on her lips.
Yeah. Archie O'Toole by Bud Thomas. Now, Bud Thomas was a euphemism, one of the euphemisms that Will Eisner would use, believe it or not. All right, so here we go. Throw it up, Mr. Mailman. Maybe it's a late Christmas gift. Archie O'Toole here. Come on, stupid. Open up the package. This it's stuffy in here. Actually, I'm sorry. I'll let you. So it looks like a little baby there. So why don't you do the baby? I thought it was Archie who was talking
Yeah,
about it.
I get it. Come on, stupid. Open up the package. It's stuffy in here. Well, what you staring at? Ain't you seen a He-Man before? I'm your cousin Montgomery.
You?
Yeah, I'm a pretty tough guy. I'm a paperweight champ of America. I got tired of brainstorming for a living.
That's okay. That's barnstorming. Barnstorming was kind of an old term meaning kind of touring. What athletes would back in in the early part of the century, right? You had a lot of when it came to the major sports like baseball, basketball, football, all that. Usually with now, granted, the NBA wasn't around yet. Only the NFL and Major League Baseball were around as like major sports leagues, but
this guy boxers.
But the thing was with barnstorming was since usually the
there wasn't
the major sports were based in the big cities like New York and Philadelphia and all that. What they would do is during the off season, usually in this case, this guy's just doing it freely, because obviously in boxing there is no such thing as off season. But usually in the off season or when they're not like they'll go around to like smaller cities. They'll take like a tour of smaller cities, smaller areas, more rural areas to kind of
and since there wasn't any major places to perform, they would probably just perform in somebody's farm. That makes
right, or a local like community town hall or something like that. It was they would usually tour. Barnstorming was usually touring like small smaller cities, more rural areas, kind of thing, away from the big cities. So, anyways. The term is barnstorming, just so you know.
I'll reread it with that. My bad. I just saw that.
I know. I figured you probably didn't know the term because that's an older term. You don't really hear it anymore. People don't use that term a whole lot anymore.
You're right on that, for sure. And it's just, I just misread it too. Just seen part of the word and thought it was one word when it was obviously a different word. Anyways, I got tired of barnstorming for a living. Why should I? Why should I when I got a rich cousin like you? I want a soft job.
That ain't fair. Besides, you're only a kid.
I want a job. I want a job. Grr.
Oh, I don't know if you realize this, but that first little part. It's kind of expletives. It's like swear word, basically. It's like
I didn't see it there at first, but
I mean, it was either that or you didn't, because they weren't actually letters. You probably weren't sure what it was. But usually,
Yeah.
when they do stuff like that, it's usually some kind of expletive, like
Yeah.
slur.
I know when I see that in a comic, that's what it is. It's supposed to be some form of swearing, so they just put that in place to swear. So I can go, bleepity bleep bleep, I want a job, I want a job, grrr, slam, slam.
All right, put down that desk. Let's see. AST commissioner. Get him a job, or an easy one, in the children's ward. I'm your new secretary, sir.
Girls, well, come on, stop moving over and get to work. I now can't resist me. I know you can't resist me, but there's lots to be done.
He's a lucky guy, isn't he?
For sure.
Anyways, one fine morning, the scooter mail express speeds to the palace.
A letter, Your Majesty. 2 cents postage. It's due.
Thank you. Look, Tumbleweed, King Ding is inviting us to enter a baby boxer in the fight tourney. Gosh, you're so tiny, I can't ask you to.
Listen, I'm entering in the contest for you.
Hmm. Wait. I guess I'll do the old guy there. Let him, maybe after those big babies ap him around, or slap him around, he won't be so tough.
In this corner, Slug Montgomery. In this corner, KO Top for the paperweight champion of the world. Boy, this is a cinch. Come on, cousin, let's go home. This is too easy.
Wow, look at those paperweights right there fighting. Later at home, who is that?
Uh, Pardon me. I got a date with a later bouncer.
No, you don't. Hey, leave my kid cousin alone. Oh, kid cousin? Bah. He's Midget Max, the biggest phony in the world. He's wanted in every state in the union.
They can't do this to me. You bleepity bleep bleep bleep.
All right, so then Hugh Hazard and his Iron Man, aka Bozo the Robot, by Wayne Reed there. So just do a little peek there, then we'll go back up and we'll get over to feature comic. So we'll just
Oh wow, look at this. The robot. Doesn't he have a striking resemblance to Iron Man?
I don't think so. Albeit they did call him Iron Man in the feature here. But what did you think of that? What did you think of the Archie O'Toole story, Rick?
It was definitely pretty funny. You know, I guess probably the voice I gave the kid too, or the midget boxer.
Yeah. And this is, of course, an advertisement, and I'll tell you this: when we come back to Quality's March selections. Crack Comics will be making his debut. I know I mentioned that to you earlier, Rick, as well. So,
well, just hopefully Crack Comics will crack us up.
Yeah, actually, Clock will be moving over from Feature Comics to Crack Comic at that point. So hour 20. So that's a pretty. I think we're still making good time here. So once we,
we're not making too bad a time. 3 stories in, so
I wanted to get at least one humor one in there with the 2 action ones because as I said, when we do go over to Feature Comics, we'll probably and since we'll be expanding to 3 books, we'll probably, this may be the last time we actually will intermix stories here like this because with 3 different books now, we'll probably be picking like 1 or 2 features from each, 1 or 2 like main features from each, superhero features from each.
yeah,
depending on how, I don't remember off the top of my head how many features were in Crack. I mean, they were probably like 7 or 8 like this one, but I don't remember which features were which. So,
yeah, it's going to be hard as each company puts out more and more books. It's going to be hard to read even one story from every book on a night.
Well, yeah, I know that when we get to like when we get to like the 50s and 60s, it'll really get hard because by that point, they're getting down to only 2 or 3 features per book. So to decide, but we'll figure it out as time goes on.
Oh yeah, of course.
All right, so now we're back up here. Do
I turned off my camera, so I'll be turning it back on in a second.
Okay.
So it's gone off.
Feature comics starring Mickey Finn. Also featuring the Doll Man. Lollapalooza. The Clock. And Spin Shaw. And also featuring Captain Fortune, Jane Arden, Ned Brandt, Reynolds of the Mounted, Joe Palooka, Big Top, Ranch King, Reynolds of the Mounted. You know what that one's about, right? You know what what he is there, Rick?
I wouldn't have a clue. And obviously, I say that sarcastically, ironically, however you want to think of it.
Yeah.
Of course, he is part of the RCMP, the Royal Canadian Mounted Police.
Or as some people call them, the Mounties, right?
Yeah, for sure.
All right. Off the record here by Ed Reed. And there we go there. Okay, the Doll Man.
What a doll he is.
By William Irvin Maxwell. Actually, I believe Doll Man. Oh yeah. I believe that might have been I don't remember off the top of my head, but I think that might have actually been that might have been Will Eisner, in fact. That might have been another one of his pseudonyms that he would use. Aided by a secret formula which can reduce him to doll size, Daryl Dane challenges the underworld as the Doll Man. in a park in the central part of the city. You want to do the people there?
Okay. Mr. Dane! Mr. Dane! Hello, Mr. Dane! Did you see my new long wing job?
Hello, Tim boy. That toy is a beauty.
It's not a toy. It's got two-cylinder motor and can fly like a real plane. I made it too.
Good for you, Tim. I'm glad to see you created ideas.
So long, Mr. Dane.
When Daryl arrives at the Roberts laboratory, he is greeted by his fiancée. There's a gentleman to see you, Daryl. Where is he, Martha?
Martha.
Martha Roberts. Martha Roberts, yeah.
I
Martha
just
Roberts Dane, who will later become Doll Girl.
yes, I just laugh. What is it with everybody calling somebody Martha?
Well, Martha was a pretty common name back in these days. Not as
Yeah,
common today,
obviously.
obviously, but it was a pretty common name back then. So he's in the library with Dad. Hmm. Come in, Daryl. This is Mr. Griffin. He has a most peculiar story. I'm sure you'd be interested in. I'll let you be Mr. Griffin. Have you do Mr.
Gentlemen, I manage a small hotel, and most of my lodgers are diamond salesmen. Recent events make me believe my house is cursed. I face ruin. The trouble lies in one room. If on any Sunday the night on if on any Sunday night the room is issued, the occupant is found dead the next day, hanging from a beam. The police call it suicide. But it's happened so often, I am at my wits' end.
Interesting. Indeed, today is Sunday, Mr. Griffin. I'm staying in your death room tonight. Like that. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. You have a room where people end up dead. They stay there on a Sunday night. I'm gonna jump right in and use that room. Yeah, I'm gonna go right into that death room. Right.
Yeah, well, it's really technically why he came to it, right? To
Or
figure
that.
out what's going. It's technically why he came to him, right? To figure out what's going on.
Right.
Otherwise, why come to these guys if you don't figure that they can figure out what's going on?
Yeah. That night at the hotel, a lone light gleams from the dusty window of the death room. Inside, Daryl Dane prepares to spend the night. Shortly, he puts out the light, and quickly he reduces his stature to the size of a doll. He The moonlight reveals him the Doll Man.
Yeah, you know what? I just thought dolls back then, I think, were a little bigger than what we would think of today.
Hmm.
Like we think of a doll nowadays about the size of a Barbie, but dolls would have been probably about time and a half size of a Barbie back then.
Let's see. I think what they described him. I think it was like 6 inches tall. Was how he'd shrink to.
Okay, so I guess that's
And for him, yeah, they over the years they would make it. He initially started out like taking some form of chemical, usually either via orally with a pill or in the veins with some kind of serum, and then supposedly he built up enough of the formula into his system to where he could do it at will. Right.
yeah. It's just that I was just thinking of the size of a doll back then because they didn't have Barbies and all that. So 6 inches actually seems small for a doll for me back then. But
Yeah.
what do I know?
Yeah. Hours pass in silence then. Hmm. A hiss. There's gas being forced into the room. I've got to get out. What the? Can't move. The gas has paralyzed. The gas has paralyzed my body. Suddenly, a panel in the wall lifts, and a ghoulish creature steps out, a noose in his hand. You want to do the bad guy there?
Another moment, another victim, and away with the diamonds. This is easy.
Well, we found out how it's happening, right?
Yes, we did. There's no one here. But there must be. Confound it. I know someone came in. Ah, this must be a trap. I must get out of here.
A weird hunchback slips behind a sliding panel and
You say
disappears. Huh?
sorry. I didn't think I was so loud.
Oh, what? Did your cousin say something?
Yeah, apparently she was sleeping and I woke her up. I was a little too loud.
Huh. Hmm. Anyways, back to the back to the article. The weird hunchback slips behind a sliding panel, disappears into a secret passage. In the room, the doll man struggles to pursue, but he must wait until the effects of the gas leave him. He's getting away. Ugh. At last, it's wearing off. An instant later, he is off in hot pursuit down the narrow black secret tunnel. Grimly, the doll man races down a low tunnel, memorizing every step and turn. Oh, how a steel door! Oh, a steel door. He's escaped. He's escaped me, but not for long.
I feel I've been followed, but that's impossible. Hee.
Now to go back above ground and follow the same course as the passage. So, the tunnel leads to the old Grimes estate. I've heard of this strange recluse, afraid of people, high voltage wires on top of the walls surrounding his house. I've got to get over that wall, and I know just the way. I can't get permission, but I know Timmy Smith won't mind if I borrow his plane. So he's going to take his young friend's little plane there to use.
Yeah,
Ah,
I would think for the young Timmy controls it by some sort of remote control, not. So I wonder where the remote control is. I wonder whether you can actually steer that thing or whatever from inside, which I would doubt,
mhm.
especially
Well,
back then.
I mean, he's a scientist, but maybe he can figure out how to get it to fly even without the remote control. I don't know. But anyways, there's the place. The lawn should make a fine runway. Meanwhile, in a dark room of the house, old Grimes gloats over his blood-stained treasures.
Beautiful.
Your Grimes?
Yeah, I said all my beautiful diamonds, but you do the top one there in that next panel. It's coming
Oh,
from-
you didn't. I didn't even hear you. Were you trying to just be quieter? Is that what it
yeah,
was?
yeah.
Because of your cousin?
My beautiful diamonds.
Yeah.
Did you hear me?
Yeah,
That
I,
time?
I heard you now. You committed your last crime, Grimes.
Who said that? So it was you, my dwarf. You'll never get out alive to tell on me.
Whipping out a sinewy hand, Grimes grasps the doll man and squeezes. With a desperate effort, the doll man breaks from the crushing grasp. Raw! If you want to get tough, I can be that way too. Look at that.
Yeah.
There now. You'll go to jail peacefully. The next day, at Dr. Roberts' home, the man was obviously insane. Yes, he'll be confined for life. Pardon me. There's the phone. I
Hi,
think you
Mr.
did.
Dane. Hello, Mr. Dane. This is Tim. Somebody took my model airplane last night, but brought it back with a $10 bill in it. Golly.
Is that right? Well. My apologies for calling it a toy, Tim. It sure is the real. Hint, hint. So sideshow Rube Goldberg sideshow. Now Rube Goldberg, of course, he was also the guy who he wrote Sideshow here. He also wrote of course Lollapalooza, Lollapalooza, I believe. But as RJ told me before, have you ever heard of a Rube Goldberg device, Rick?
It sounds vaguely familiar.
Okay, in the Tom and Jerry cartoon, some of the kind of the complicated traps that Tom would sometimes come up with in the Tom and Jerry cartoons,
I think so, yeah.
and the game Mousetrap.
Yeah.
Those are Rube Goldberg devices.
Oh, okay.
Jane Arden and Lena Pry. Captain Fortune. We're gonna go down to the clock next. We'll see where we go from there after that. Big Top. Joe Palooka.
And we are at an hour 38, so depending on how long.
Yeah. Well, I think the clock story is like 4 or 5 pages as well, so it'll be. Oh, how? By the way, how did you like the Doll Man story? I keep forgetting to ask you.
I like Dolman good, pretty good. Again, the only one that seemed, shall we say, suspect for not the best writing tonight, um, was the Black X. Of course, there's been, I think, some minor plot holes in these other
Yeah.
ones.
Well, on the Black X one too, and I because like okay, you know how I use some of the wiki. So, since quality was bought up by DC,
Yeah.
you can find on the DC database site that I use sometimes. They'll have some of the synopses and some of the stuff from quality as well. And I know that some of the people there will oftentimes have some of those same criticisms about Black X. They will they'll have a plethora of things to say that they're not too impressed with certain things about it or what have you. So, anyways, hour 39 here. So let's get into this then. The Clock Strikes by George Brenner. Complete story by George Brenner. Oh. Brian O'Brien, who plays the role of the Clock, talks with his friend, police captain Kane. No, Captain Kane. No, Captain. No, no golf today. I'm going to do a little flying. I haven't had a stick in my hand for weeks. Sure, I'll have dinner with you this evening. So long. A half hour later, the Clock is at the city airport. Everything set, Benny? You want to do Benny right here, Rick?
Yes, Mr. O'Brien, and it's a swell day for flying.
Now, to get as far away from Mother Earth and her troubles as I can.
Somehow I don't think that's going to last.
Yeah. Ah, the radio. A little music will make this trip perfect. Suddenly, the music stops. We interrupt this program to inform you that the secret formula for a new poison gas was stolen from a federal laboratory today. Mankind would be at the mercy of the fiend who would dare make use of it. Nothing is known of the thieves except that they made their escape by air. A description of the plane follows.
Well, this is going to be very convenient because he's just about to pass the plane that they described.
Yeah. I don't think I'll run into those babies, and I'm not going to let it worry me. Uh-oh, what's this? In the distance, the Clock sees a plane. That's a crate he was just talking about. I'll set my gun. I'll set up my guns. Benny the fool forgot to remount them. Well, there's only one thing to do. Climb higher. Oh yeah, I think I know what the Clock's gonna try to do. I think I saw this on a Clutch Cargo episode. Let's see if he let's see. Actually, no, he's not gonna do what the Clutch Cargo because I do kind of remember reading this a while back. The Clock gets directly above the hostile plane. If I miss, this clock will stop ticking for good. There I go. Look at that. Dude is brave.
Yeah, that's something that one of the things I thought he was going to do, either that or somehow connect his plane with theirs.
Well, because what I initially thought, but then I went back and I realized, oh wait, no, I've read this story. He did what I initially did because in a Clutch Cargo episode, what Clutch Cargo did, he was flying a seaplane. He had a very similar situation like this. But what he did, he got kind of what he tried to first off get on top of the guy and get over him and like kind of put his pontoons on it. But then what he did instead was he got his platoons behind the guy's tail wing, so to keep him from. But I thought that, but this, yeah, having put on his mask, he dives through space. And there goes a good plane.
Yeah, well, they covered the one thing that I was just going to say about that. With this, he's going to lose his plane because it will crash and burn.
Yeah. The Clock lands on the wing of the other plane. And then I'll let you do the two bad guys here.
Carl, I'll get him, friends.
Out on the wings high above the earth, the clock battles for his life.
Yo. Yeah. Oh no, that's you.
You're next. Come on, you're next, chum. Knocking the pilot out, the clock brings the plane down on a nearby field. Get out. Talk. Where's that formula?
I don't know what you mean.
Listen, fellow, talk, or you'll get the same as your pal, Carl. Only it won't be as quick.
Attack. Here it is.
This is a copy. Where's the original?
That's a lie.
Where's that original formula?
Stop. I'll tell. I was taking this copy to a chemist in another city. The original I leave with Heiser,
Heiser.
who is an old barn in the old barn on Post Road. He's making gas now. We plan to make gas in every big city, and then we get when we get the word, we strike.
I think you'll be safe till I get back. So he tied him to a tree. Only able to hire a motorcycle. A clock speeds toward the old barn.
We're tied to a tree. He won't be able to leave.
Yeah. It would have to start raining. Oh, there it is. And without stopping, he heads straight for the doors. With a splintering crash, the clock hurtles into the barn. Don't move, Heiser. Don't you move, Mr. I'm gonna let you do Mr. Heiser. Don't move, Heiser.
Don't you move, Mr. Clock. I will throw this tube of gas just completed. In fact, I will.
Puff! But out of the deadly fumes, the clock walks.
It can't be.
The terror-stricken Heiser is unable to move as the clock comes at him. Crack! That night, Florence spy ring held for theft of poison gas formula brought to justice by the clock. Heiser claims gas worthless as it had no effect on the clock. New tests made by government agents prove it is deadliest gas known. Why didn't the clock die? Brian, I'd like to know one thing. Why that gas didn't kill the clock? I figure it out. Figured out this way. We know he wears a mask, and it started to rain. Today. The mask probably got wet and clung to his face, acting as a filter for him to breathe through. You know what's kind of funny about that statement too? Because last night, after I was finished my show, I decided to turn on the G.I. Joe channel on YouTube to kind of just watch it just as I was doing other things, and they were doing at the time they were showing the first G.I. Joe 5-parter, the mass device, the one where they had to get the 3 elements to power that beam kind of thing. And during one of the when after Snake Eyes had brought the crystals back, the canister had unleashed a paralyzing gas to where the container was going to explode. Well, you see Cover Girl and Timber there, basically breaking a glass of water onto the floor, and she's pointing out, well, yeah, good boy, because fluid filters gas. So, so there was something for you there. So let's see, what time is it now?
10-2.
So we're at an hour 50. I guess we can start.
The wrap up.
Well, yeah. I mean, I think what we'll do, we'll like just breeze through here the rest of this and look at the art. So what did you think of the clock story, Rick?
Well, it was short, but again, it was good. Like, of all the ones tonight, the biggest letdown really was the Black X. It was
and you know what's kind of funny too? The Black X is actually the longest of the stories too, of the features. I think it was 8 or 9 pages. Everything else was like 4 or 5 pages.
Yeah, there was too many. I won't say leaps in logic, but jumps. It just seemed to jump here, jump there. There was no cohesiveness to it.
No continuity.
Well, there was minor continuity, but no cohesiveness. It didn't flow easy. I would say, and it was all very narrative driven, which there's not necessarily a thing wrong with narrative driven. Like the first Canadian Shield, my Canadian Shield, I think is fairly good, and I've gotten that from a lot of people, and it's very narrative driven too.
Ned Brat by Bob Zupke.
So the Black X seems like he can be a good character. I think we've had a few good stories with him, but at least tonight's one just seemed not quite as good. I think we've had good ones with him in the past. I'm not 100% sure.
The Bungle Family. Reynolds of the Mounted. They're still talking. Rube Goldberg Sideshow. Dixie Dugan.
But the thing is, I'm not sure how long Quality Comics lasts or how long Black X lasts.
It lasted until like 1956, 57.
Okay, Quality. But did the Black X last that long?
No, Black X is, I think, through sometime in the mid 40s, I think. But
yeah, maybe that's because I think the writing for it has to drastically improve. I don't know whether it will, of course. I hope it does, but and I don't know whether it'll change writers or do they change writers? Was this a different writer than normal for it?
if you like fast moving adventure picture stories with plenty of slam bang action, don't miss the May issue of Feature Comics. The Voice, Zero the Ghost, Detective Samar, Poison Ivy, Rusty Ryan, and Bruce Black, Burn Counter Spy. Bruce Blackburn, Counter Spy, all start in this issue. Remember how I told you how the clock would be moving to Crack Comics? Some of these stories were came in to basically with a new book starting up, they moved some of these features into Crack Comics and replaced them with some of these other ones. So all start in this issue, and heading this parade of sensational features is a 9-page episode of The Dollman. So the Dollman will become the lead feature in this book in the next issue of Feature Comics, starting in issue 32, which is rapidly becoming America's greatest comic character.
or so they would lead you to believe.
Yeah.
And hello, good night.
At that time, they probably felt it was. So, order your copy of the May issue of Feature Comics, now on sale, March 27th.
And hello, good night, Spoon. And no, I have not cut off my hair. I just had it back in a ponytail. I had a video job um, uh, interview today, so I, got all dolled up, put my hair back,
Yeah.
brushed it, put it in the ponytail.
Good night, Spoon. You kind of got in a little late tonight as we basically read through some old comics here. I'm sure. Now, of course, since I do keep my shows up, you can always go back and rewatch them if you want. Catch Rick and me doing voices and all that. But with all that being said, so overall, hold on, I got to make some lighting adjustments here. So, but I guess as I'm going, I guess I can still talk. But
Yeah.
Anyways, Rick, how did you like the selections tonight?
Overall, the selections were good. Of course, like I said, I have my issues with Black X, the first one, but other than that, most of them seemed cohesive. The writing was good. I'm not, I don't think I pointed out much in plot issues in them. There probably was if I really sat back and looked, but um, I probably could have figured something out. There probably was some minor things here or there, easy enough, but it's all right. Even today's stuff, and I think all throughout comics, there's probably been minor plot issues here and there, and you can find it in movies and all that if you're looking easy enough.
But now, Grant, I know we've read some quality stuff before. I know you've been with me before when we've read some quality stuff before. So, would you say the writing is getting better with this company at least? Would you say the writing's getting? Because I know you guys always have issues how the stories are written with some of the companies. Would you say that the writing here, at least with quality, is getting maybe a little bit better overall?
Well, it definitely seems like it at this point, especially with most of the stories. Like we read 5 stories tonight, and 4 out of the 5 stories had, I'd say, above good writing, maybe above average writing. So that in itself, I think, is good. Obviously, I don't know about every story, but it's sad that the feature story in the one that was the longest, again, was one that had the most problems.
Yeah, but the thing is, but you thought that the Dollman story was pretty good, right?
Yeah. Like I said,
the Dollman and the clock stories will become while the Dollman story I know will become a lead feature for future comics. And I think the clock may be one of the primary features for Crack Comics when it moves over there in the next month there. So, and as I told you, they last, I think, until the late 56, 57, around there. But Quality Comics, right? The Quality Comic, this was a company that was the original, but before DC bought the characters up. Quality Comics was the original home for Dollman, Black Condor,
Uncle Sam, the Human Bomb,
Uncle Sam, Phantom Lady. Let's see, the Ray, Human Bomb, Red Bee, Neon the Unknown.
There's a few.
Plastic Man and Blackhawks were also originally Quality properties. So,
obviously, I've heard of quite a few of their characters, more through DC than their own. I know we got a few comments here. But good night, Moody says, I just woke up and got here, and I also was born yesterday, and I'm Hungarian. I liked it better when Rick had his haircut. Or you thought I had my haircut. He looks like that hippie Jason Momoa with long hair. Also, I cut my hair. How does it look? I don't know. I can't see it. Did you know that? Did you know that they made Saw into a musical? No, I did not. That could be disturbing in more ways than one.
All right, so now that we're up to about the 2 hour mark, now we're gonna start to wrap things up here. So today being the last day of May, Friday, May 31st, 2024. Why don't we go ahead and take a look back at this day in Nietzsche history? History! So let me just take a quick peek here. 2001, 1998,
You sure, match. You should work.
2004.
Okay. Okay, then I'll say it looks great. It looks awesome. Good night, Spoon. Made
2004.
it,
And
they
then,
made it into
all
a
right.
musical. Well, that sounds horrifying.
All right. So, anyways, first off, we're going to head back 25 years ago today. Is on this date 25 years ago today, back in 1999. WWF at the time held its Monday Night Raw event from the Mark of the Quad in Moline, Illinois. The main event saw Steve Austin defeat The Undertaker by a DQ in a WWF Championship match. Also on the show, you saw the Acolytes, Bradshaw and Farouk, at this point they were servants of the corporate ministry. They would later become known as the APA, the Acolyte Protection Agency. But the Acolytes here defeated X-Pac and Kane to become the new WWF Tag Team Champion. And then Jeff Jarrett would defeat the Godfather for the WWA Intercontinental Champion. Of course, Jeff Jarrett had Deborah in his corner, and Godfather had his hose in his corner. This was a little over a week after Owen Hart's passing from that fatal fall that he took at Kemper Arena at Over the Edge. Initially, I think they thought that they were going to put the IC belt back on Owen at this point. But then after his pass, I think they decided to give the title to Jarrett here, as a way of honoring Owen, I think. But anyways, so 25 years ago today, the Monday Night Raw was held from the Mark of the Quad in Moline, Illinois. Moving on to the next piece of Nietzsche history, as it were.
You're welcome, Good Night, Spoon. And no, I don't. And you know what? It's kind of scary to think that 1999 was 25 years ago, a quarter of a century. It's like 25 years ago we were worrying about Y2K. And I think I'd rather be worrying about Y2K than a lot of things we're worrying about today.
Yeah, I would think that you make a pretty interesting point there, Rick. Anyways, moving on to now move ahead to 23 years ago today in 2001. On this date in 2001, the 100th issue of Betty from Archie Comics went on sale on this date. Back in 2001, it sold for $1.99, was 32 cents. Of course, had 3 Betty stories featured, including The Big Breakup Part 3, Sleepy Time Gal, and Trouble in Store.
Well, that is a comic I wish I could get into, or I could get into. I like Betty. Betty is a good character. In fact, I had a crush on Betty for many years. I probably still have a bit of a crush on Betty.
Oh, I'm sure we've all had our fair share of crushes on comic book characters and cartoon characters. I've had my fair share too. So, But anyways, moving on to the next, moving on to 2004, which was just 20 years ago. And on this date, 20 years ago, on Nick Jr., on Nick Jr. Peppa Pig premiered on this date in 2000 on Nick Jr. on this date back in 2004. So on this date back in 2004, and it's still running to this day, by the way. So on
Yes.
this date 20 years ago today, Peppa Pig debuted on Nick Jr.
Well, my friend John Dillard, his daughter really likes Peppa Pig, or she did, anyways. And Goodnight Spoon says, "I've decided that the world is a joke, and then Rick, you should make a parody comic called Booty."
All right. So with that, we have one more. We have one more piece of niche history going back just 5 years.
How about instead of Booty, it's Biddy, and it's all about an old lady, an old biddy.
Yeah. Well, I think Goodnight Spoon had something else in mind, obviously.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, "Why the late stream?" Well, on Friday nights, he always does comic retrospect, and it does go 2 hours or about 2 hours. So this is normal for a Friday night.
So what we do is we go through and we read. It's what you could call it. You call it one part comic book review, one part dramatic reading. We read through the comics. And for the primary purpose for the co-host is, of course, to like give commentary. But many times, if they choose to, they can also read along and do voices like I do. So it's, as I said, one part comic book review. And we look back to how comics, the world building. We look at a number of things, social commentary, of the times, how it was reflected in those. We look at other things. We kind of, the idea is to immerse people in that world, to try to get people the feeling of like, what it would have been like to read those comics for the first time if they had lived back then. That's
Although you can't quite get that feeling because we're living today and we're not in that world, but it's still nice to.
And unfortunately, a lot of people still just, instead of being able to suspend their own disbelief or suspend their own thought process, will try to apply modern day sensibilities to the comics of this time period.
And Goodnight Spoon. Normally, most of his shows start at 9 Eastern and end at about 10 Eastern. And he might take suggestions, but he is going through the comics systematically. He's doing month by month, year by year. He started at like 1933, and we're up to 1940 now.
We're working on right now. We're working through the companies that had books on sale in February 1940. We'll actually be finished up with that in a couple weeks here, June 14th. So next week we'll be looking at Standard, also known as Better Books and Nador. And then after that, we'll be looking at Street. Now, Street and Smith might be a little longer, only because I didn't catch it the previous month, but apparently Street and Smith started up in Shadow Comics. So we'll be reading actually from Shadow Comics 1 and 2, Volume 1, Issues 1 and 2. And probably the same features, obviously, but we'll be reading from both of them and also doing, obviously introducing people to some of the key heroes of that comic. So
he's like, "Will the question ever make it on the show?" Probably eventually, but not for quite some time.
Yeah, the question I don't think came out. I think it came out like, if I know it's sometime I think it was 64 or 68, somewhere around there. It was in the 60s. We're right now in February 1940, and I'm systematically going through these. I'm going through every, or just about every major, obviously I'm focusing on superheroes, world building, kind of like, so like tonight, like tonight we kind of featured the four main heroes that we looked at were Black Espionage with Black X, Invisible Hood,
Yeah.
Doll Man, and the Clock. Even though we did do another.
Yeah. Although with some of them you haven't read the superhero stuff, you've read the army stuff or the western stuff or whatever might be popular in that comic for that year or time.
Well, you have to remember too. Some of the stuff, like Dell, for example, they were primarily doing anthologies that were basically doing reprints of the comic strips in the newspapers.
Yeah.
And those ones we only do periodic. Those ones we only do like milestone issues. So like we might do the first issue and then like starting with every fifth issue starting with 510 up to issue 30, and then from issue let's say 30 to like 100, it might be every 10th and 25th issue. Then it might go to every 25th issue, let's say from 100 to 300, just to give people an idea of what was being presented.
Yeah, it's 67 for the question when he came first appeared, and then he's like, I'm not sure what that word is. Puntunashu?
Yeah.
But
anyways, so let me finish up this day in the history segment. We have just one more item to get through, and then we're gonna wrap up. I'll give you a chance to do an outro, Rick. So, anyways, the last thing, of course, here. On this date 5 years ago today, as part of the Loop on the Third franchise, the anime film Fujiko's Lie from Telecom Animation Film was released in Japanese theaters on this date back in 2019, so 5 years ago. This is, of course, part of the Loop on the Third franchise, in which they featured Fujiko Mine. So on this date 5 years ago today, the anime movie Fujiko's Lie, produced by Telecom Animation Film, was released in Japanese theaters. So with that, I thank everybody for being here tonight. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. If you want, you can always go back and rewatch the show and catch the readings if you want. Let's see. Don't poop in a shoe, Rick. Okay.
Hey, I'm not the one that said we're pooping in the shoe. You put it up there first for that comment too. And no, the Comics Code Authority has not yet been invented in 1940.
Yeah. The Comics Code Authority didn't come about till like 1954, basically. Okay, based on Frederick Worthen's work. Now, granted, yes, some of the stuff that was in these comics is what eventually led to the Comics Code Authority, but it was still like 10, 15 years away from this point. So it's coming up relatively soon. Yeah, I mean, if you really want to know and see how things kind of work their way through and stuff, just keep coming back on Fridays and watching the show, and you'll see as we go through the right. And I already talked to you, Rick, before, so I'm going to have you on next Friday, right?
Yeah. I was going to say good next week. Relatively soon, yeah. It's about 14 years away in the comic, in the real life world as things went on. But in our reading, it's probably 20 years away.
I'd like to hear you go into the thing that caused it going through.
We have done so before on shows.
We've actually had some streams where we've actually have looked up, we've gone over the article from Wikipedia on the Comics Code Authority, and we kind of discussed, some of the aspects of it. So, yeah. So, anyways, Rick, Rick, you want to do your outro real quick, and then we will wrap things up here.
Okay, so I'll put the link I put in earlier in the chat. That is basically to my latest video of me painting out and about in Hamilton and painting up Canadian Shield with a little bit of a scene around him with the area that I was in, or it's not exactly the area, but inspired by the area that I was in, we'll say. It's not something that's finished, but it's slowly something that I'm putting out there in a bunch of different pieces. So if people want to check that out, build that up, maybe comment, on it, like and share it, of course. It'd be great. And for those that aren't subscribed to my channel, check it out and subscribe. Hopefully you'll subscribe.
All right. Well, with that, I think you're okay. And I bet there would be a modern day parallels to the debauchery we see today and what we saw in comics pre-COVID. Well, the only way I guess you're gonna find out is just start coming and watching the show every Friday.
Yeah.
Even the shows where Rick isn't on, because I basically try to have different guest co-hosts every week. But with that, I thank everybody for being here. We'll be back on Sunday with our weekly panel show, the weekend edition. Rick, I'll hopefully have you back then. Where we'll discuss all in the world of Nietzsche and all that. And with that, I thank everybody for being here. Hope to see you all back here on Sunday. Bye.